Alright, lads, so I have some thoughts about this one. You know, I initially made a video talking about this being like, oh, we'll probably get this in-game as well, because they like to do these little, you know, damage event things in the game as well, because it's kind of like free content to throw out there. But I was like, you know what, maybe this time, because FGO is moving in what I see as kind of a better direction. It looks as though, even though the events might not be super gas all the time, right? We're still kind of getting a steady flow of content over here on NA, and, you know, even though the Goo event that's going on right now might not be to everybody's liking, it's still content, right? They're still kind of moving forward. JP, don't ask me what's going on over there. JP looks like the Sahara Desert, but over here on NA, we seem to kind of be eating. Like, I really have not had very many complaints. It's just JP not really knowing what they want to do, but something that they just threw in here that makes me a little upset. Now, we're going to go over this. If you want to do like big damage numbers, obviously, if you have like a competitive nature or whatever, you can come to our Discord, go into the FGO channel and be like, look, I did 100,000 damage, and then I will drop my big 3.3 million damage turn, and then I will immediately get destroyed by someone from r/FGO who drops like a 6 million damage turn, and they're like, by the way, free to play. So, you know, that's all going down in there if you really want to like flex your big numbers. But something that did make me a little bit upset about this, before we go into the details of, you know, what the power mods and people you want to be looking at it maybe bringing for this, bro, it's the fact, where did they put it? They put it in here somewhere, where they just put like, there are, like, they went out of their way. I think, did they remove it? Okay, I think they removed it, but there was like a note under this this exhibition quest, and it was like, please note there are no rewards for doing this. Like, we want to make it sure that it is just absolutely abundantly clear that this is just for fun. And I was like, dog, come on. Like, I understand that maybe doing like, oh, top prize for the person that does the most damage maybe just appeals to whales or something like that, but I don't know. I think you could do something really cool with this. Like, you could give out like certain CEs, or maybe something that they could implement in the future would be like little badges you could put on your account or something for just hitting like certain thresholds. Like, let's say you hit 100,000 damage, right? Like, you're able to do that. That seems pretty doable. You got like a badge of like, oh, I did the trial quest and I, you know, hit the, you know, normal damage number, right? I mean, even look right there, 100,000, that's fine. That's easy enough to do. But if you start hitting like insane levels, like if you're more of like a dolphin whale player, you know, you hit like 1 million damage, you get like 2 million damage, you start going real crazy, then maybe you get like actual rewards or something, or you get a better badge, you get like this diamond badge. It's like, oh, I did really insane on this. It's just really weird that there's like no incentives on an event like this. I mean, sure, if we were back in like 2016 when this game dropped, okay, sure, that's fine. There's not a lot of mobile games that are out right now, but again, just as someone who plays a lot of these games, right? Who plays everything from, say, like the Dragon Ball game to Arc Knights to Star Rail to just a whole myriad, even Princess Connect, right? You have all these other games that don't really just throw something out here and be like, there is no incentive to do this. Because if you are someone, right, who's like not really like driven by, I guess, competition or just wanting to see how much damage you can do, you might not even notice that this is in the game, right? Of which case, then what's the point, right? Like, you gotta, I don't know, make your players want to engage with your content. And by being like, oh, no, this is strictly 100% for fun, I have a news flash. I don't think FGO is so fun, or is like, the gameplay is so invigorating that it's worth just playing for the fun aspect. I think there are a lot of other games in the mobile market that do that way better. The games are way more engaging or more interesting to play, whereas FGO is a lot more like mathematical and straightforward. Not that I don't have fun sometimes with certain bosses, but just the gameplay loop is just not really all there in comparison to other games. Again, a lot older, so I cut it a lot of slack, but still, you can't just be like, the game is fun enough on its own, so you'll definitely do this for that. It's like, no, like, I don't know, throw out some rewards or something, incentivize people to replay this, because stuff like this is what I'm asking for. Like if this was like a permanent quest, right? And you had permanent missions that were like, hit like 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, all the way up to 1 million, I think that would be very interesting to just have permanently in the kind of like daily area, because that is stuff that FGO really needs. Because think about like when an event's not going on, what are you doing in FGO? Like if you're someone that actively is like, you know what, I'm in a mood to play FGO. I did just say that there are other games that are more fun than it, but sometimes you're in a hankering to, you know, click some arts cards. Sometimes you want to do big buster crits. Sometimes you want to turn your brain off a little bit and just play a little bit of FGO, right? Sometimes you don't want to think super hard playing Arc Knights, right? And sometimes you don't want to get blasted by Broly when you're playing the Dragon Ball game, right? You don't want to see yourself take 2.2 million from Cell over there and just get absolutely booty blasted out of the game. Sometimes it is fun to sit down and play FGO that can be a bit more casual, and that could be kind of like a long-term challenge, and it's something that I'm looking for FGO to do, because when there's not an event, or even when they have these like download campaigns or stuff, these different campaigns I've got to throw away, there's not a lot to really do outside of, say, the events, because it's just like dailies are half off. Sometimes, rarely, free quests go half off, but it's like, who wants to farm free quests? Does anybody have fun farming free quests? Stuff like this can be very, very fun. I think if they attached missions and rewards to it, that would be a huge step in the right direction, giving us just repeatable content that there is, one, a reason to do, so it kind of invites everybody to want to play it, but then it's also just something that, I'm bored, I've already finished all the missions, but there's not much to do. Might as well test out this new unit that came out and see how much damage they can do, right? Again, if you've played any other mobile games, you know they have like repeatable boss quests, or just repeatable quests that really let you get a feel for how strong these newer units are. And I just don't feel like, oh, okay, you know, new servant comes out, like let's say the Ruler Melusine, right? She comes out, or Berserker Castori. Those are like an AoE looper and a single target servant, right? I don't really feel like going up against Kiara for the 800,000th time, or going up against free quest farming, or just even daily quest farming is really conducive to showing how good these units are. So I would just like to see more stuff like this be pushed and more incentivized. But if they're going to do it more frequently, then a lot of my criticism here can be kind of mitigated, right? It's just kind of a little bit of thoughts that I had about it, because I saw this yesterday when the 29 million download campaign thing came out, and I really wanted to talk about it, but because I pushed this off to talk about that, I've just been kind of stewing on it for like the last day. But let's talk about people that actually want to go into this and they really want to get those numbers. So first and foremost, your first wave is going to be up against these Roman soldier guys. Nothing really like super special here, right? These guys are just very, very weak. You're probably just gonna booty blast these guys and move right on over. I mean, they've got like 1,000 HP. You could brave chain your way through these guys, right? Like as long as you don't just hit like one person's brave chain, like you just do a quick chain with, I don't know, your main DPS, whatever Zerk you're bringing, whatever Pretender if you want to use Oberon, because he's good against these guys. Due to being Pretender and being good against the Knight classes, you know, whoever you want to use, they're probably gonna you can click 3 cards and probably get through it. These are the guys that you really want to be hitting for your actual damage, and they have some interesting traits. They give us a nice spread of units here, and I do like this. Again, this is why I'm like not being super negative. You know, it's just like things that I want to see them improve and how they can make this a lot better. But I like this idea where, you know, it's not like, oh, you better have like Ibuki who's got like this blah, 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 blah power mod. It's like, no. Like we've got a nice smorgasbord of effects here to hit. I mean, you have Artoria Alter over here, who is a sky attribute female. She's got riding if you want to use Nobu for some reason. Then again, she is a Lancer, but hey, if you really want to push her, let's see how far she can go. She's got dragon attribute. I mean, she just got a lot of like good like normal attributes. I mean, you can't really take advantage of Hominidae over here or 7 Knight Servant because we don't have Draco yet, but still kind of nice that they have this. But then there's Sigurd, who's also a male with dragon, right? So you get a little bit of that different feel. Also is an earth attribute, still weak to Enema Relish if you want to bring Gilgamesh. I mean, I believe this is the Brynhilder's Beloved. I didn't know that they changed that to Love One. Did they do that for all of these guys? Yeah, they did. Okay, that's weird. I didn't know they changed Brynhilder Beloved to Loved One. Live reaction. Okay, that's a little weird. But yeah, but you also have differences in their alignments. Lawful good, you have neutral good, and then you have neutral good over here as well. I wish they maybe would have thrown like an evil person in here, like say Moriarty, but maybe that doesn't really give them the swash of going like Star, you know, Earth, Sky over here, right? Giving you good attribute power mods. Because like this is exploitable with say the Bride Nero, right, who gives you the power mod to anybody, right? Dragon is very easily accessible for either one of these two. I mean, most people probably have someone like their own Sigurd or their own Siegfried who could really take advantage of this. And then Napoleon's just got like normal stuff. Like he's just kind of a dude. He's got stars. So I don't know. Maybe they could have swapped this out for some like male guy like Moriarty or something, but maybe they also wanted to be weak to Brynhilder's beloved. They also give you Divine over here because he has divinity as well. I do like the idea. It's like a nice, you know, swashbuckling group of guys you got over here. Just wish the alignment thing was maybe a little more spread, but then again, it's not like, you know, you're probably like, oh, I have to have this like power mod against good guy. It's like, no, the attribute thing is probably going to be what you're going to be harping on more, especially for like Artori over here. You probably would be harping on the female thing over here, which I don't know. Maybe they could have made this another female for like Jack. If you really want to use Jack, or like Camilla, maybe this could have been like a Rider or like a Berserker, maybe. That probably would have been a little bit more accessible, but the idea is there. The idea is really good, where you've got like 3 different classes. You've got Saber, Archer, Lancer. You've got 3 different attributes. You've got a guy and a girl, and then you've got like numerous different traits. You've got kind of a different, you know, assortment of alignments, and it's just kind of neat, right? It's a nice little thing to go test out like your servants against and see how much damage they can do. But again, only live for 3 days, and again, like I've been talking about, I think this is very interesting. I think it's a very cool thing that they could be continuing to do, but realistically, this is just one of those things that they only do for panels, but I'd like to see it get more consistent. The only thing is that it may be an actual issue with the FGO app itself. I have heard from people that are more into programming than I am, some of my friends, and they have kind of like looked at how FGO runs, and it definitely, it looks and feels like a 2016 game from like a programming perspective. And I've seen people like Nasu, one of the writers for Fate, you know, the guy that wrote Fate Stay Night, he was talking about how he wanted to do more for like Lost Belt 6 and 7, but the game has limitations because it's so old, so they're not able to do stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, that's, maybe it's a restriction for the game, but I can't imagine we can't just have more quests up. I don't really know what's going on there, but hopefully they will start implementing more stuff like this in the future, because that's what I want to see. Obviously, FGO is the main thing that I cover on this channel. I kind of want it to prosper. It's the main thing that I cover, so forgive me. Like, you got to forgive me for, like, you know, being a little harsh sometimes, because I expect and I want to see better from this game, because realistically, I like playing it, but, you know, good step, but probably not going to be anything all that major. But yeah, a little bit of a rant, a little bit of a small quote-unquote guide, but let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Sometimes I just need to vent my thoughts on things when FGO just drops stuff. But with all that being said, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.